Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I hope everyone is doing well. We are getting starting with this meeting. Please try to stay on mute while you are in this meeting so we can have the recording available for everyone afterwards. And inshallah, we will be doing a Q&A session at the end. So before we get started, I do want to go over our itinerary. So there's a couple of things we will talk about today. So the first thing is we want to get you introduced to the group leaders that are traveling with you and the group leaders that will be here with you. And then we'll go over the entire trip schedule. And one of the more important things for these seminars we have going, especially with the current conditions of COVID, want to cover we do want to cover the Nuzuk app, which is very important, inshallah. And at the end, we will open up for Q&A. I'm sure some of us are already have signed up for the Nuzuk app and good to go, but we do want to cover a couple of those things while we're going over the seminar, inshallah. So the first things first, if I can have Brother Samiuddin come on camera, inshallah. He will be one of your group leaders during this trip.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Samiuddin Hassan, and inshallah I'll be receiving you at the Medina airport.
All right, inshallah. If I can also have Brother Tahir Javed, Brother TJ, come on the mic, introduce himself, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Inshallah, meeting you at the JFK on the 12th. And I will be traveling with you, inshallah, throughout this holy journey.
TJ, if you can come on camera just so people can recognize you, inshallah, when they come to the airport.
It's not coming up?
No, I don't see it coming up.
We can see you.
All right, perfect. So, inshallah, we're going to move into our trip schedule. So this is one of those times where we will talk about what's going to happen. Some of the things are tentative on the schedule. Sometimes we switch over the timing for the historical tours, but we don't choose any timings that will affect your
can't see
Roda
brother
or
Sami.
Ghazal Jannah permits. Sister, if you don't mind, can you please place yourself on mute, inshallah? We can leave the questions at the end. Jazakallah khair. So this is how our trip will go. Some of the things, they will stay as it is. A few things that may change in the schedule are maybe the day we do the historical tours. But we make sure we don't choose a time that will get in the way for anyone that is trying to go pray in the Roda in Medina. So we do have a limited schedule in Medina. We will be arriving on Monday, inshallah, and staying in Medina till Thursday, which is 3 nights. And then, inshallah, you will be moving to Makkah and staying there for 4 nights and coming back to JFK, inshallah, on the 20th. So on the first day, you are departing from JFK Airport. There is a layover in Riyadh, and Riyadh Airport does not require you to collect your luggage. So you do get your luggages in Medina. Just stick with the group leader so you make sure you can get to the domestic terminal with them. It's also very easy. You just follow a couple of signs and you are at the domestic terminal. You take your flight from Riyadh to Medina, inshallah. When you arrive in Medina, we will transport you from the airport to the hotel in Medina, and you are staying in front of Al-Haratiyah, which is very close to the Haram. As soon as you exit, you will have access to gate 16 and 17, which is for the women. If they're going to pray inside, you go enter from gate 16 and 17. And right after 17 is 18, which is the gate used for men. So inshallah, once you arrive in Medina, Brother TJ and Samiuddin will be guiding you how to get there, how to go to the Roda, to go give your salam as well, just for the men. So inshallah, just keep these things in mind. So the first day, we want to make sure everyone is ready to go utilize their time in Medina. So Thursday is a free day. Spend this time if you need to get some shopping done. And especially after a long travel, you do want to make sure you can get some rest done as well. And inshallah, you will be doing your historical tours in Medina, where we do take you to Masjid Quba. And if you have some additional time, please try to visit Masjid Quba while you're in Medina. The next day, on Thursday, you will be moving to Makkah, inshallah, to do your Umrah on the same day. And inshallah, we will have all these timings so you can take out the permits. Last we checked from yesterday at least, the permits did not open up for the Roda yet. But you will be able to take out your permits for the Umrah. I believe the Umrah permits are open. So when Sister Rahima goes over Nuzuk, she can cover that information in more details, inshallah. So then you have your Friday prayer in Makkah. So we want to make sure everyone can get their Umrah done. Approximately, you will be arriving to Makkah around 7, 8. And inshallah, you can do your Umrah after Isha. If you decide to do it with the group usually does it after Isha. And if you decide to go on your own, you can go at any time. And then the following day, you have your Jummah prayer. And then, inshallah, after that, on Saturday, inshallah, you have your historical tours. Then you have a rest day on the 19th. We do pay for the hotel for the night. Your flight is for 6:15 a.m. So you will be leaving the rooms approximately around right after midnight. So we can get you to the airport at a time where, just in case if there are any issues over there, we can resolve them. We do try to get everyone to the airport 4 hours before. And keeping that in mind, we would like to see everyone at JFK as well. Our group leaders usually are at the counter at 10:15 to 10:30, where we will be providing you a Ainul Haramain bag, which you can use during the trip, and it's easier for us to recognize you or any of our non-US staff. So we do have people like local staff in Saudi, so it's easier for them to recognize you as well too. They see our bag, they recognize it, and it's easier for them to get everyone together. And even during your Umrah, those bags come in handy. You throw in your slippers when you're going to Haram to pray. You don't want to lose anything. So inshallah, when we see you, inshallah, it will be me and brother TJ who will be available at JFK Airport to give you those bags, inshallah, for usage during the trip. Without any further ado, I would like to invite Sister Rahima so she can talk a bit more about Nuzuk, inshallah. Sister Rahima, are you available?
Absolutely. So, as Brother Harood mentioned, going into this trip, inshallah, you're going to have some technology needs related to actually performing the Umrah and visiting Medina. If you've been there post COVID, you know that there's a new app that they use called Nusuk, which was previously known as I'tmarna, which you'll need to sign up for from here, from the United States, in order to get your appointment. Before we get that appointment, however, I want to make sure that everyone understands what exactly are the needs that you'll have while you're there. So first and foremost, you're going to need a smartphone. Of course, this is an app, so it's going onto the smartphone, be it Android or iPhone. I have noticed that Android works a little bit better on the Saudi system. However, if you're just planning on using this app, then the iPhone should be just as fine. I've also tried the Nusuk app on an iPad, and it works just as well. So the first thing that you need is a smartphone or a smart device that allows you to download the app. The second thing that you're going to need is for this for your device to be internet connected. And so that really comes in two different ways. Either the first is that you can get data roaming data from your carrier here at the States. So what that would look like is really just reaching out to whoever your carrier is and figuring out what the plan is, whether you're covered, Saudi Arabia is covered in your plan, or if you need to pay any extra and if you'd like to purchase that option with them. The other way that you can get internet whilst abroad is that you can actually buy a local Saudi SIM while you're there. And this is something that you can actually do at the airport during your layover. If you'd like, you can really go for like the smallest package possible. Comes out to like between $30 and $40, and you get enough data. So it's usually like 10 gigs, which is more than enough data for the time that you're there. The reason why it's really important for you to have internet access is because the Nusuk app, it does work on internet. So I've also had the question before of, can I use it on the hotel Wi-Fi? So you can use the app on the hotel Wi-Fi, but you do have to remember that when you go to Haram, or when you get to the masjid, when you go outside of the hotel, you'll no longer be connected to that Wi-Fi. And so because of that, there is a possibility that your app will become disconnected and you might not be able to pull up the appointment or the permit on your app. And so because of that, you might not be allowed in because they're not able to see that. So if you want to remove the risk, then the best thing to do is to keep some form of data, whether it be roaming data from the States or a local Saudi SIM. Now that we have that covered, we can kind of go over some of the steps that you can take today to get your Nusuk app downloaded and ready. So I already sent forward in the WhatsApp group both a guide and a tutorial. So there's like a long PDF guide as well as a video tutorial of every single step-by-step of how to set up the app. The first thing you're doing is either going to the Play Store or the App Store and making sure you download Nusuk. That's something, again, as soon as this call is over, inshallah, I would highly recommend everyone does that. And then from there, you actually start setting up, which is also, you can do that from now today, because as Brother Harun mentioned, the Umrah appointments are already open for our dates. So you want to make sure that you're able to get a permit. And these permits are limited, especially for the ones in Medina. They're very limited. So you want to make sure that you're able to get them as soon as they open and that they don't run out before you have a chance to get them. So just a reminder, I've already posted the step-by-step guide as well as a video tutorial. Going forward, inshallah, once this seminar is through and I have that recording up for you, I will also be sending instructions on what dates and times you should take out the Umrah and the Roda permits for. So Umrah, we have a group timing that, if you'd like to do it with a group, we recommend that timing. But if you'd prefer to do it on your own, you're more than welcome to take out your own timing as well. As for the Umrah, once the first one is done, you're able to make the next appointment right away. And overall, they are a bit more relaxed in checking their Umrah permits. We were just there in February, and honestly, they didn't even check them at all. Whereas in Medina, it's the exact opposite. They're very, very strict on the permits. You must be there before time. And so that is why I always recommend people to make sure that the permit time you choose is a time that works for you. Don't take a 3 a.m. appointment if you don't think you can make a 3 a.m. appointment, right? Or if you feel that you're going to miss your appointment, definitely cancel it before the timing starts, because once you have made an appointment and the time of your appointment has passed, whether you actually used it or not, you will not be allowed to take out another permit in Medina for the Roda, for Riyaz al-Jannah, for another 30 days. So Umrah, you can take out multiple permits, and they're not checking them as strictly. But in Medina, for the Roda, you can only take out one permit every 30 days. And of course, our trip is much less than that. So really only one permit for the trip. And if you miss it or if you've used it, you can no longer take another one out, as well as the fact that they're extremely strict. And you need to be there not just on time, but early before your appointment to make sure that you make it to the front of the line within your timing. That being said, it is also important to note that the timings are in 24-hour format, so that if you're looking for a PM slot, you have to go back to that 24-hour format. So for example, I've had people do this where they book a 3 o'clock slot, so 300 to 3:30, right? 3 o'clock to 3:30, and they think it's a 3 p.m. slot, but in actuality, it was a 3 a.m. slot. Because if it was meant to be a 3 p.m. slot, it would actually be 15 o'clock to 15:30, right? So just something to keep in mind, that while you are setting up your appointments, that you are looking at the fact that these are 24-hour format appointments, and that your PM slots will be over 12 o'clock. So you're 13 o'clock, 14 o'clock, 15 o'clock onwards. Another thing to keep in mind is that the sisters' permits will only be open after Isha. So they open up at 8 o'clock onwards. Currently, by the time the Isha Salah is done, it is about 8:24 p.m. once the Jama'ah is done. And after that, the women line up for the Roda, and from there they are allowed in. So I would definitely suggest taking something out after 8:30 just to be safe, not taking that first 8 o'clock slot, just so you don't miss it. Or honestly, being more realistic, because the timing in the lines in Medina is also quite long, that you take a 9 o'clock slot and you get into line right after Isha, so that you can make your timing right away. For the brothers, there is a little bit more ease. You guys have more timings available. You have more timings available. It's basically available to brothers all day except for after Isha, because of course that's for the women, and after Fajr as well, it is closed to the men. Prior to that is open to the brothers. So after midnight, It'll be open to the brothers, as well as after Dhuhr and after Asr, it is open to the brothers. But the same applies to the brothers, that please be early to your time, to your appointments. Please be sure to keep the appointment at a timing that works best for you. And similarly, if you feel that you will not be able to make an appointment, to be sure to cancel it before the timing starts. And lastly, that if you have any issues or any questions, you can absolutely reach out to us at any time. As far as the further directions go, inshallah, everything that I mentioned will also be posted in the group chat. But with that, I'd like to give Brother Harun a chance to jump in if there's anything else I missed.
Jazakallah khair. I do want to recap some of the important information Sister Rahima just covered. So the first thing is, please make sure you have your technology needs in place, because without your technology needs, sometimes a lot of family members don't have an email address. Sometimes they may not have a separate number. You can use any number available to you when you are registering. You don't get any codes, anything on your number. But it is highly recommended to use information that you have access to. This way, in the future, when you go again and you need access to your Nuzuk app, you will be able to get it. You do need an active email on the device, because they do send you a code through email. So that is very important, to activate your app and to log in. So each time you have to log in, they send you a OTP, a one-time password. So it's a 4-digit number that you plug in order to log in. It's a 4-digit number you plug in order to even register for the app. So it's very important you have your technology needs in place. Number one, you need a smartphone. Number two, you need a number you can use to register. Number three, sometimes people don't have an email, at least not all family members. Maybe you have kids traveling, they may not have an email. Please create an email. You do need access to this email in order to use the app more efficiently. And then another important part is, I know we have seen people not have issues with Wi-Fi, but it's highly, highly, highly recommended that you have some sort of internet connection, maybe some roaming data. Low speed is better than no internet connection at all. And if you feel like your carrier may be charging you too much, which you do need to call and find out, inshallah, just make sure you can go ahead when you arrive in Saudi, you purchase a SIM so your trip goes smooth. Especially while you're in Riyadh, it's not a long layover, inshallah. Brother Samuddin will be sending out the tickets, so you will have that information. It's a few hour layover, but it's a pretty efficient time to actually get your SIM cards out of the way once you cross immigration and security, if you need them. So technology needs, it's very important these days on these trips. It's not like before, if you have been to Umrah, where you just come, land, and you do all your activities and you come back. And even about the Umrah permits, they are very relaxed. I don't want anyone to worry about the Umrah permits. Take out an Umrah permit, like evening Umrah permit, anything after 8 p.m. 2,200 hours to anything till midnight is pretty good for the Umrah permit. And for the Roda permits, we do want you to take it out as per your convenience. And some of the issues we have seen in the past is, you are arriving on Monday, and we do give you the recommended timings to take out the permit. So it will be anytime on Tuesday, it will be anytime on Wednesday. And we do want to remind you that you are arriving in Medina on Monday night. So by the time you get to the hotel, it will be around 5-6 o'clock approximately. So sometimes it's tough when you take out the permit for the same day. Especially for the women, they have the night hours. So if you arrive the same day, maybe you may not have the energy. It is a long travel. We are traveling on a 13-hour flight, then you have a few hour layover, then you're on another hour and a half flight. So you may not have the energy. You understand your body's much better. If you feel like you cannot make it for that night, please don't take out a permit for that night. Same goes for the men. If you're taking out an AM permit for Tuesday, meaning anything for they usually have permit hours starting from 12:30 all the way till Fajr, and then they have afternoon permits for men going all the way till Isha time. So if you're taking out a permit and you feel like you cannot make it for that after midnight permit, especially on Tuesday morning, that will be more like the night you arrive, it will be that time. So it's better to take that rest and then go maybe the following day in the daytime, or maybe Wednesday morning in the AM hours. Our historical tours is for Wednesday morning, so there are no permit timings available for men or women in those particular hours. So we do like to keep our historical tours at a time where it does not affect your remaining schedule for the trip. We do have a short time in Medina, so we want to make sure you can utilize that time. The permits have not opened up for the Roda. And as soon as they open up, we will have a post in the group to remind everyone to take the permits out for your trip for Medina. Just for references, they usually do open up around Thursday, Friday, Saturday time. So we are expecting them to open up end of this week, inshallah. Sister Rahima, if you want to add anything else, because I do want to talk a little bit more about the Roda and how important it is to show up on time. So inshallah, when you do make your Roda permit, please try to leave for the women hour and a half before your time, and for the men at least 1 hour before your time. It does change a little bit from time to time, but it is, you do line up by gate 37, 38. For the men, at least they're sectioning them off outside. So they will just put you on any line. Usually they won't check your permits on the first line. And then on the second line, they check your permits. They will, if you have a screenshot, they will not accept it. I have seen a few people on the previous trip. They printed out their permit and they printed out their visa, and they were let through in order to go make it for the Roda. But just keeping that in mind, it's possible they may reject you. The safest way to get in is through the Nuzuk app. And then once they're done looking at it, sometimes they scan, sometimes they don't scan. They will let you in, and they will have like multiple sections where they will fill up one section, the second section, third section. They have approximately 6 sections over there. So once they place everyone in one section, it's full. Second section, and once all the sections are full, they do have a way where they do it. So first section, they will let in the Roda in the Riyaz al Jannah. They will let you pray inside, and once everyone has their time done, which is approximately anywhere between 5 to 15 minutes, depending on the rush as well, and then they will let the next section go, then let the next section go, then let the next section go. So keep yourself prepared. Make sure you go ahead and use the bathroom, do wudu, and you go prepared to the Roda Riyaz al Jannah. This way you will have a much easier time, because once you try to leave in order to do wudu, you remember you have to get out, do wudu before you enter in order to go pray. Your permit time slot will be over. They will not let you back in. So it's very important to go prepared. And for the women, we have seen it in the past where if you show up after your permit time starts, not when it ends, they give you half an hour, they have rejected some women. So where they're checking the permits, they will start rejecting people over there. So keeping all those things in mind, I know there are some elderly people traveling as well in the group. They don't bother. If someone is handicapped, they're in a wheelchair, they don't bother as much. So please try to take a permit out at the same time so you can take them out the wheelchair. We have also seen sometimes if you don't have a permit, but the person with the wheelchair has a permit, they will let one person push that person inside. So the men do need a male to push in a particular person, and the females do need a female pushing in the person, especially if you have accessible needs during the trip. And with a reminder on that, I do want to put it out there. If you have any wheelchair requests for your tickets, please do let our team know so we can put it with your tickets. And during this trip, if you require a wheelchair, we highly recommend bring your wheelchair from home. And if you decide not to take your wheelchair, please purchase a wheelchair as soon as you arrive. Our group leaders will guide you a bit more once you arrive over here to how to handle the situation with Umrah when it comes to wheelchairs. So if Brother Samiuddin or TJ, they don't have any information to add, I would like to open it up for a Q&A.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
So thanks for the information. I just have a couple of questions.